Welcome to the church. That's right, the Church of 350. Welcome to RacerXOnline.com. I am Kris Keefer. I am excited today because I have a 2025 KTM 350 SXF. I'm not going to say the word perfect because I don't believe in that word in the world of testing. So it's not a perfect size engine, but man, is it good. So we are here today to break down the changes. Obviously, you guys know KTM went to work on the chassis. So instead of just giving you every little nook and cranny of what KTM did to the chassis, let me try to give you an analogy. So 23 and 24, if you're at home and you're married, and maybe you have a loving wife, but she's very rigid and stern, and she is just like, where are you going? You should be home. And you know what? She's nice, she's loving, she cooks you dinner, she takes care of you, but she's just rigid and just in your you-know-what all the time. So you're just like, gosh, I can't break away. And then you have a 25 KTM 350. So let's paint that picture. You have a loving wife, but she's like, absolutely, see you later. She doesn't ask you what time you're going to be home. She's pretty chill. Oh, I'm going to go to my draft party with my buddies. All right, have a good time. I'll have dinner waiting for you when you get back. That's the 25 KTM 350. Just a little looser. Just a little bit calmer. Easier to deal with. That is what the KTM engineers did for 2025. Basically, thin some plates down, cut some holes near the shock tower, open that up, freed this bike up a little bit because we were complaining about stiffness, rigidity, track toughness was down in the 23-24 chassis. So 25 KTM engineers just calmed this lovely lady down a little bit. So I am excited to ride it, see if it actually does work here at the infamous, that's right, infamous Glen Helen Raceway. It's smooth now. We're going to be here today testing, so I'm looking forward to put this lovely orange brigade through its paces. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. We'll tell you what it's all about. Welcome to the church. All right, guys, I'm back. You know what? I'm going to admit something. I think I'm an idiot because every time I ride this bike, I wish Simon could go back into the archives of the tests that we've done for 350s because I always start out with, like, I had a great time. This is the most fun I've ever had. And then my idiot ass will go race another bike and ride a 450. I need to really learn from myself because I need to go back into the archives and look at my face. It's not very good to look at, but nonetheless, I'm a happy guy when I get off a 350. No different today. So I would say I'm a little bit happier because KTM, just like my analogy at the top of the show, hopefully you guys understood it, laughed a little bit. It's not so serious, just dirt bikes, but they relaxed the chassis a little bit. I'm not going to sit here and say that the 350, the 23 and the 24 350 was a huge issue like I had with the 450. With the 350, you have less inertia. I can move the bike around more, and I feel less of that rigidity on 23 and the 24 than I did on the 450. So I wasn't expecting much today, and I will tell you guys this. I have been riding this bike at my high desert tracks for the past couple of weeks, and then we brought it here just to shoot for Glen Helen. But what I do notice, and if you're coming off of another 350 earlier year, is it's going to be less edgy. I use that word a lot in these tests, and what edgy means is when I'm trying to cut across the track or when the track doesn't have a lot of traction, this updated frame from KTM in 2025 really rewards you and makes you feel like you have more tire contact patch. That's another testing term. So contact feel is how much tire width you feel underneath you. And with the 450 and with the 350, I feel like I just have more contact feel with this updated chassis that KTM provided us in 2025. So that is great. Another thing you'll probably be hearing from other media as well that test this bike is it doesn't take as long to break in. I think, hold on, let's see. We only have 5 hours on this bike, and it's already better than where I was at 15 hours in on my 2024. So that is a nice change. Some of you guys don't think that is a real thing, but that is a quite real thing when it comes to KTM chassis. It takes a little bit to break in. Some of you guys email me and say, Keefer, my chassis is really stiff, it's harsh, it's deflecty. How much time is on it? And they say, hey, there's like 4.5 hours on it. And I'm like, hey, you got to wait till 10 hours. The 2025, you don't have to do that. Almost 5 hours, it feels good. There are some updated torque specs for this bike and the 450 up on my website. So if you guys want a little bit more of a planted feel and more of a relaxed sensation out of your chassis, there are some updated torque specs on my website. You can check those out. But nonetheless, this bike inspires confidence in any rider. If you're wondering, where's this 350 fit in? Where does it fit in? Do I need one? Keefer, I'm 230 pounds. Is it gonna haul my big ass around the track? Yes, it will. I will say, at some point today, 3 to 4 times, I was like, this 350 feels like it has more throttle response and bottom end than a 450 because the recovery is so quick. Like I'm in third gear sometimes thinking, it's not gonna pull me around. Granted, I'm 175 pounds, but it does. If you want it to pull third gear a little bit more, go up a tooth or two on the rear, boom, ride third gear. If you're a heavier guy, you're gonna have more fun on the 350 than you will a 450. I have no agenda here to try to give you my opinion, but I'm telling you guys, the 350 package, the sizing, I don't want to use the word. I'm not going to use the word. I told you guys I wasn't going to use it, and I'm not. But it's almost there. It's almost the P word. It's just fun to ride, inspires confidence. It corners great. It feels light. On paper, from the 450, you might think, Keefer, it's a pound lighter. You're crazy. Like, it doesn't feel that light. It feels 10 pounds lighter than a 450 on the track. Look, I ride a lot. So I'm almost numb to the fact I get on these bikes. I'm like, all right, Simon, let's go do these tests and shoot. But then I get on a 350 and it brings something to life inside of me. I'm sure Simon can attest to it. He sees me ride all the time. Like I'm having fun. I'm wheeling, I'm doing things. It's just fun to ride. If I raced less, I probably would own 2 or 3 of these because they're so damn fun to ride. And I'm not saying that you guys can't race this, but if it's a fast track like Glen Helen, you are going to suffer a little bit from a 450 going up these hills. But if you're riding East Coast, tighter, ruddier, better dirt than what we got over here, 350 is plenty of power. Look, Mike Brown serves it right up to everybody at Loretta Lynn's on the 350. Served it up to me, served it up to Shorty. Even though Shorty won, he was serving it up on a 350cc powered motorcycle. So if it's good enough for Mike Brown, it should be good enough for us. So for me, yes, if you are a bigger guy, the engine is good enough for you to haul around on. You might have to ride up in the RPM ranges a little bit higher than a 450, but you can train yourself that. You can tell yourself that. This bike likes to live up high. Don't mind. It's a different kind of lazy. I always talk, it's easy to ride a 450 because you can be lazy, because you can use third gear. Well, you can be lazy in the sense of a 350. You can use second gear because it pulls the second gear so much farther than a 450. So if you don't want to upshift, fine. Let the thing eat for a little while in second gear. The 350 obliges, the 450 can't. Sure, maybe it doesn't have much luggability as a 450, but still the recovery is better than a 450. So there are a lot of pluses with this, and I think we as media, we hurt this machine earlier in its life because it didn't make sense. It didn't have a lot of low end. It didn't have a lot of power. It felt heavy. Well, those times are gone. These times, quick revving, fun to ride, gives you that exciting seat of the pants feel when you're on the motorcycle. So the engine is by far almost the P word. Suspension, now we're starting to creep down. My face is coming down a little bit. It's not horrible, but the air fork isn't consistent. You hear me talk about this on my show, on other videos. Look, it's not bad. If you're just a weekend warrior, it's going to be great. You set the air pressure, you babysit a little bit, it'll be fine. But if you're serious about comfort, go to a spring fork, live your life a little bit happier, and trust me, you'll like your bike a lot more. But in stock form, it is a little soft. I go to 10.7 bar on the fork. Stock is 10.4. And then play with the clickers. The enjoyment about a KTM is you can play with your clickers on the fly. Who can say that? Playing clickers on the fly is a nice thing. So you can adjust it while you ride, the shock and the fork. Sag for me is about 103 because it likes to ride rear end low on acceleration. So bring that up a little bit, 103. Don't be scared to go up further than that if you guys feel a little rear end low on acceleration. So maybe 101 to 100 is fine, but start at 103, work your way from there. If you're heavier, you're gonna need a rear spring up one rate, and that'll balance the bike out a lot. Ergonomically, fine stock bars, stiff. Go to a different bar if you guys want to. Pro Taper, Renthal, that'll help you. Love the hydraulic clutch. Again, for me, I think overall, this bike is good for most people. I wish other manufacturers would build the 350. It probably would evolve this. I honestly wish some of the racers nowadays would race 350s in Supercross and Motocross. I think they would be surprised. But for whatever reason, KTM doesn't want to push that agenda in the professional ranks. I know they sell all of these anyway. So for me, I have a great time on it. I'm going to ride it more this year. Hold on, let me go back to the archives. I said that 17 times probably, but I will. I'll ride this thing more. And a couple things to note with your 350. Spokes, not great. Check your spokes every ride because they're going to loosen up by the rim lock. You're going to lose spokes. So again, babysit your wheels on a KTM. If you want to put a little bit more money into your KTM, go purchase some DID wheels. They make wheels. You go to W, they have wheels, whatever. But if you don't want to do that, at least get some heavy duty spokes. You can relace them up to your stock rim and hub. The hub is no problem. It's just the spokes aren't any good. Overall, the clutch lasts 30 hours. You don't have to worry about the clutch. And for me, even though some people say KTMs aren't reliable, they've been good to me for the past few years. So if you guys are wondering about reliability, that isn't an issue. And this 350 keeps evolving. It keeps getting better. It's getting harder for me to give you guys excuses why I don't ride it. So why don't you do me a favor? Go purchase one. Let me know what you think. Kris at KeeferInkTesting.com. Become a member of the church. Our church is great. The Church of 350. We're a small group, but we're a mighty group. And we like to have fun. So if you guys want to go have fun, look at the 2025 KTM 350. It's a blast. I love riding it. Don't forget our magazine, Racer X magazine, 12 issues, $30. Things you can read. That's right. We still read around here that you can't on the internet. So different stories, $30. Get a free gift. And if you want one of those Church of 350 shirts, email me. We'll get you one, get you in the club, and hopefully see you at the track on your 350. Before we leave here, throw me a story. Give me a story about your 350, why you like it. I like to know these things and why you chose a 350 over a 450 or a 250. But email me, let me know your story, and happy to help you guys out. It's a virtual door, just cracked open. Just kick it open a little bit. I'm here to help. See you guys in the next test.